Good. Joe, just ask for your immediate response to the defeat, and afterwards, if you could, just give us a bit of an update on injuries and Jack Conan's situation.
Yeah, I think I'd like to first of all congratulate the Japanese for the energy, intensity, the skill they brought to the game tonight. They are a big team and they play big, and they were very difficult to contain. I felt we probably controlled the first quarter reasonably well. To go 12-3 up, 2 tries scored, it's probably exactly what we'd asked for. But the longer the game went, the more oxygen they got from penalties and from the skill that they showed. And you've got to commend them for that. It's not the first time we've seen them do it. It's not a surprise to us that they were incredibly tough to beat. And the quality even of Michael Leach coming off the bench, I thought he really added value as well when he came on. Utamura and Lafayette, I thought they got a bit of an armchair ride. We got penalised for a few offsides, and then we became hesitant. And once we became hesitant, we couldn't really put the same pressure on them as they were putting on us, and they got a real roll on. So that's a tough defeat for us to take, but I think the strength of the team will be how they respond and how they rebound from this. A 6-day turnaround into this game was a little bit tough, and we've got a 5-day turnaround now into the Russian game in Kobe on Thursday, so that will be another challenge for us. From an injury perspective, I think Rob Carney, I just spoke to him in the corridor. He's got a decent shiner, but he's feeling okay now. He failed his HIA as far as I know, so he will, if he doesn't pass his HIA 2 and HIA 3, he will be a confirmed concussion, and that will rule him out of the Russian game. Jack Conan, unfortunately, Jack Conan has a fracture in his foot, and he will return home to Ireland tomorrow.
Joe, before the game, you said you looked forward to being able to put some width on the ball, and the stats sheet show that you have, I think, 7 offloads and maybe a couple other which weren't completed, which is above your offload rate for normal. Was this the game to play a more risky sort of open game against these opponents in their conditions?
No, we didn't go out with an explicit idea of playing any differently from the way we would normally play, and I think the way that we started the game is the way that we play the game, and I felt we got some good line breaks. We got in behind them, we scored 2 tries, we were putting pressure on, and I think Rob Carney's try was on the back of 2 penalty advantages that we had, because we were putting the pressure on and Japan were under pressure. Unfortunately, that reversed as soon as they got hold of the ball, and we missed a couple of marks. I think we got a couple of maybe 2 lineouts in the second half. We didn't get too many platforms to play from, and they kept the ball for very long periods.
フリーランスの向井と言います。キャプテンにお伺いします。最初敵陣で日本のペナルティーをしたときにショットではなくトライを狙いに行った背景というのと、あとラストワンプレーでタッチを蹴って試合を終わらせた意図、その2つお願いします。
Yeah, look, I think it's something that we've done for a number of years now. If the penalty is within a certain area that we've talked about before the game, by all means we'll go for posts. But at the same time, if it's in an area where we feel that there's doubt over the kick, we'll go to the corner. It was the same last week, and look, I think in fairness to Japan, they defended quite well. We also got certainly one of the tries came from going to the corner. So look, that's the way we play. We back ourselves to go after teams. But at the same time, if the penalty is there for the taking, we'll take it. I think once they went 4 points ahead, it probably forced our hand a little bit, and we had to go to the corner.
Joe, just on the final play, were you happy with the decision to get the ball off the pitch? And do you think that the bonus point obviously could be very important?
Yeah, potentially the bonus point could be really important. It means that we've got 6 points from our pool, 2 pool games so far. Japan have got 9, and then Samoa have got 5. So they're the ones who've got points so far. And you've got to finish in the top 2. So keeping that bonus point allowed us to stay in front of Samoa in the short term, and we've no doubt that Scotland will be a player and Russia will line us up in 5 days' time. As I said, those tight turnarounds are pretty tough going, and we will kind of, I suppose, have to chase a little bit now, because we want to stay in with a chance of topping the pool. Certainly, we've got to get in the top 2.
Joe, you mentioned the 6-day turnaround there, and the players did seem to maybe fade out of the game a little bit. Hindsight's great, obviously, but in hindsight, would you have made more changes to the team to freshen it up?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think that the players like CJ and James Ryan, they were still delivering at the end. I think we tried to have a very easy start of the week. We had a light training on Tuesday. Our only real full training was on Thursday, so those players felt really well recovered. And because we had a few changes in the back line, we wanted to keep a little bit of continuity up front, and that was the decision you make. I think hindsight is always an advantage, but I'm not sure we would have done it too differently.
ジョーさんにおそらくジェイミー・ジョセフ以外で一番日本のことを理解している指導者ってあなただと思うんですけど、実際にゲームを見てみて日本のチームのパフォーマンスというのは考えてた通りだったんでしょうか。何か予想以外のもの、予想以上のものというのがあったんでしょうか。
No, I don't think the Japanese performance exceeded my expectation, unfortunately. We expected them to be as good as they were. We knew that they were going to be incredibly tough, and so it proved. I think they, as I mentioned earlier, they have a very good engine room with the tight 5 forwards. Their back row were very, very effective. As I said, when Amanaki Murphy went off and Michael Leach came on, I think he added a little bit more, but Himeno was very good again. And I thought Luke Thompson came in and added a bit of value as well. And in the backs, even I guess across the board, we found them a real handful. Obviously, Matsushima was a danger. Lemeki ended up starting and was a handful. So across the board, they've got quality players and they play a quality style of game, and they're very hard to contain. And I would say that I think that they tend to clean the ruck very, very deep, and it allows them to get onto the front foot, and that is very, very hard to stop. We're kind of playing off I suppose a defensive line maybe 2 metres behind where the initial tackle happens, and then to get back off that defensive line is very hard to turn around the momentum of their attack. So they did that really well. And so you've got to congratulate them for the way that they played today. And as I say, I don't think it exceeded expectations. It unfortunately met my expectations.
Time for 2 more questions. First one in the front here.
Joe, there was 9 penalties conceded by Ireland. Did you think they were fair calls, and how did you assess Ireland's performance in that area?
Yeah, we'll go back and have a look at it. I certainly understand the frustrations of some of the players and discussing things with them based on what I saw on the monitor. And it's not too dissimilar from the last time we had this referee. So we'll go back. We'll go through the official channels and we'll make our comments to to the referee body rather than making any public kind of comment.
Last question.
What was the biggest disappointment about today, and what do you hope to see from the players in response in this short turnaround?
Yeah, probably the biggest disappointment is obviously to score 2 tries in the first quarter and not to add to that is incredibly disappointing. We put ourselves into a couple of positions where we felt that we were in close enough and putting real pressure on, and we got quite close, and then didn't actually capitalise. We turned one over in the second half there. It was very hard for us to get the ball placement. We were on top of the tackler, and you know, I thought that was pretty tough, but you've got to be tough enough to cope with those things, and certainly we've got to be better at what we're doing, and we've got to demonstrate that in 5 days' time. So we're not going to get a lot of time to put anything together. I think we're doing an open session in Kobe on Tuesday, and that will be the only training we'll have in the lead up to Russia, who have already proved themselves to be very, very physical and very combative, very competitive. They stayed in the game for a long time with the Japanese. So, you know, that's a measure of how competitive they can be. And even in the Samoa game, while they lost that game, they actually had a lot of the game, a lot of the ball, and put Samoa under a lot of pressure. So we're anticipating another really tough game in 5 days' time, and we're going to have to dust ourselves off and certainly perform better than we did tonight.
Thank you very much.